And so as we were mentioning, so it's a teamwork. So Tyler Smith from Adventium will illustrate a couple of additional capabilities that will enrich OSAT. There you go, left, right.
All right. And most critically, we have a timer here. We on? Good? Yeah. Got a timer here, so we will do 15 minutes, and then we'll get out for coffee. There we go. This presentation, especially since this is the last of a series of presentations, you're going to hear me say the exact same sentence about 10 times. The goal in this is when you go to bed tonight and you're laying on your pillow, you're going to remember that AADL is an integration focal point, and that Tyler Smith said that about 10 times, and you got really tired of hearing it by the end of his talk. I work for Adventium Labs. We're a research and development company out of Minneapolis, Minnesota. And I think we've already hit this pretty clearly. AADL is intended to solve integration problems. We saw examples of those from Dr. Filer earlier, so I'm not going to talk about that in detail. Adventium's approach to leveraging AADL is to use AADL as an integration focal point. That means it has common semantics that can address different stakeholder viewpoints and bring them together around a concern and reduce communication problems in integration. Adventium does that with a variety of tools. For example, we talked about DevOps earlier. We have, which one is my laser?
It doesn't work.
Doesn't work?
No.
Oh, no.
The screen is absorbing the light.
All right, we'll
So
just gesture.
We do have another one. That one should work.
Beautiful. Yes? Should I go closer up here like that?
Yeah.
There we go. Thank you. I got a thumbs up and back. Thank you. We talked about DevOps earlier. Adventium has tools for continuous integration with models that provide dashboards for managers and engineers to show the status of models. We have cybersecurity analysis tools that analyze your models and check for issues that might cause your model or your design to fail a cybersecurity analysis. We have, as mentioned before, timing analysis tools that will look at timing constraints of your hardware and software. And we have safety analysis tools that let safety stakeholders engage with the same models as your engineers. I think we've hit many of these points already, but the reason we leverage AADL is it is not a vendor lock standard. AADL is human readable. It's focused on integration issues, and it enables portable analysis. We make analysis tools that use the semantics of AADL. Jerome just talked about OSAT as a platform, but nothing is locked to OSAT. If your tool works with AADL, you can use the semantics of AADL regardless of what front-end environment you're using. AADL is portable and it's not locked to a single environment. Adventium releases our tools in a library called CAMA. CAMA is a sponsorship-based library for customers to acquire tools as Adventium produces them. We make research and development tools that we transition and commercialize. A subscription to CAMA provides you with access to tools as they're created. I'm going to summarize some of those tools here. We talked about them briefly earlier. cessF is a tool that leverages STPA safety analysis on AADL models. Mills and RMF do security separation and isolation analysis of AADL models. The Continuous Virtual Integration Toolkit provides a dashboard and set of automation tools for doing DevOps on AADL models. Sliced detects behavioral incompatibilities. So if you're integrating different software components, we can automatically detect and create counterexamples to illustrate problems in integration before you've actually written software. CalfMed will use AADL's flexible type system to do integration and to keep design space options open long into the development process. Isosceles is a medical device reference architecture that we worked with Professor Hatcliffe in the back on, and FastStar is a timing analysis capability. For the sake of time, I'm going to talk about two of these tools in particular, and then we'll get to go have coffee. First, I'm going to talk about CalfMed. CalfMed is a tool to provide a DevOps type perspective or dashboard for least commitment design. When I talk about least commitment, the way that I like to illustrate that is, has anybody here read the Choose Your Own Adventure books? You got a few nods. Yeah. So when I used to read those books as a kid, for those who are not familiar, a Choose Your Own Adventure book is like a novel, but every 5 pages or so you come to a decision, and instead of the character making a decision, you get to say, oh, if you go right, turn to page 25. If you go left, turn to page 150. So you're choosing the story that's put together in the book. The problem that I had is when I was reading it, I never wanted to be stuck in one choice. So I would always put one finger in each page and then start reading one and then get to the next branch until I had every single one of my fingers holding open a different page in the book. What I was trying to do is to take a least commitment approach to choosing my own adventure. CalfMed takes that perspective and uses the power of DevOps and continuous integration to automate that process for you so you can consider as many design options as possible, as long as possible, and you don't end up stuck in one path too early in the design process. The second tool I want to talk about is called cessF. cessF uses STPA, which is a safety analysis technology out of MIT, but it extends on STPA to leverage the semantics of AADL to use, again, AADL as an integration focal point between safety analysis and engineering. cessF uses the same model that we're using for engineering a system to perform safety analysis on that system. So your safety engineer looks at the same model, and the approach we took is that the safety engineer doesn't need to know anything about AADL. They run the tool, and the tool interrogates the AADL model and presents the safety engineer with questions about that system based on the model and puts their input back into the model. In that way, we get subject matter expertise, and we put that into the content of the model and can feed it back to the engineer. And then we can reduce the turnaround time so that when there are changes to the model, those changes can go back to the safety analysis, and they can do an evaluation of the delta between the two models instead of having to do a wholesale reevaluation. All of Adventium's tools cover a large swath of the engineering lifecycle. So we have example systems that start at the top. We have the trade space analysis we just spoke about, and then as your design gets more and more precise, we have more and more precise analysis tools, again, detecting integration errors early, and like the introduction to this whole talk said, before you've written any code. So that's the end of this talk. The main takeaway, AADL is an integration focal point that lets different stakeholders work together around a common model with common semantics. Thank you.